what is the context of fasting in the Catholic tradition? What is the primary purpose of fasting? Fasting is important for us spiritually, provided we fast for the right reason. When we fast, sometimes, and quite often perhaps, we fast basically out of legalism. There are some people, they just follow the laws, and we don't want to break the law of fasting that is demanded by our religion. In this case, we know that the Church's law requires to fast and abstain from meat and from food on Ash Wednesdays and Fridays. And then on all the Fridays of the year, we are supposed to abstain from meat. And then, of course, before you receive communion, you are supposed to fast for an hour. But many of us, we try to circumvent the law. For us, our intention is just to fast. But we have forgotten the spirit of fasting. And so today, it is important for us to come back to the real reason for fasting, lest we fast in vain. We don't fast for the sake of fasting. Fasting must have a spiritual motive. You notice that in the church teaching, solemnities and Sundays are not included as days of fasting. That is why the season of Lent have more than 5 weeks. If you calculate properly, more than 40 days. Simply because we do not include Sundays as days of fasting, because it's a celebration of Jesus' passion, death, and resurrection. And so when do we fast? We fast when there is no more joy in our life, when there is sadness, when there is emptiness in life. And this often comes about because of our sins. When we sinned, we are not happy with ourselves. We can be pretending to be happy, to be celebrating, but we know that we are not at peace within ourselves. When peace is missing, when there is emptiness in our hearts, when there is no joy, no real joy, then the Lord said, then you should fast. Fasting will help us to be in touch with ourselves, will give us that spirit or the disposition to look into ourselves and to see what is really challenging us. What are the things that we need to face ourselves? What are those demons in us that needs to be unleashed? And of course, fasting also comes about when the bridegroom is missing. Bridegroom, of course, in this case refers to Jesus. Jesus is our bridegroom. So when we have lost the Lord in our life, because we have strayed away from Him, because we have spent very little time with the Lord in prayer, in reflection, and we don't make time for the Lord, our relationship has become very weak and superficial. So when the Lord is not present in our life, when God is far away, when we do not feel His presence with us, there is the lack of intimacy. Then again, because a bridegroom is taken away from us, fasting is a means by which we yearn for the Lord. Fasting combines, of course, with prayer, because fasting provides the disposition for prayer so that we can focus better and not be distracted by the world and by the noise in this world. But then fasting is also for us when we feel alienated from our brothers and sisters, especially when we are alienated even from ourselves, from a heart of compassion. That's why fasting is associated not just only with prayer, but with almsgiving. Because many of us, we don't feel with the poor. We can be lacking compassion for those who are struggling. Some of them have lost their job, some of them in financial difficulties. So very often we lack compassion because we lack touch with the real world. There are people who are sleeping on the streets. And sometimes you look at them, they have no home, or they just cannot stay with their family for whatever reasons. There are people who are hungry, no food. And here we are wasting away food, we are throwing away. So, very often, those of us who have been living a good life, we are provided with everything, we tend to take all these things for granted. We don't appreciate, actually. In fact, we make so much noise, we complain about this, complain about that. And there are many people who are much, much more deprived than us. That's why we don't cherish what we have from God. Instead of counting our blessings, we are saying, how come we don't have this? How come I don't have a big car? How come I'm not living in a bungalow? And all these things. Lack of appreciation, lack of identification with those who are suffering. And that is why we miss the joy of service, the joy of giving. We must go back, must find integrity in our fasting. Real fasting truly means a change of heart. Change of heart towards God, change of heart towards ourselves, change of heart towards our brothers and sisters. We be more forgiving, more tolerant, more embracing. When we have hearts of compassion and love, that is the whole purpose of fasting. Then we are truly in union with God, with ourselves, and with our brothers and sisters.